If you really knew who you were, you wouldn't keep repeating the same mistakes. You wouldn't avoid the same conversations. You wouldn't fear the same responsibilities. You wouldn't collapse under the same pressures. The ancient Greeks had a command, know thyself. But modern life gave us a different one, distract yourself. And that's exactly why most people today, especially men, don't actually know who they are. They only know the version of themselves they perform for others. But if you really want to understand your personality, your patterns, your emotional triggers, your ambitions, your potential, then the first truth you must face is brutal. You don't know who you are. Not yet. And the sooner you accept this, the sooner your real life begins. Because the moment you realize how little you understand yourself, you also realize how much potential is still hidden inside you. The first real step to self-understanding isn't confidence. It isn't self-belief. It isn't motivation. It's humility. Radical humility. Two kinds of humility, to be exact. The first is accepting your ignorance. Accepting that the person you think you are is just a guess, a sketch, a projection. You think you know your limits, your personality, your strengths, your flaws, your destiny. But if you look at your own life honestly, you'll see the truth. You can't control your impulses very well. You aren't disciplined in the ways you pretend to be. You avoid difficult things more than you admit. You hide parts of yourself, even from you. You carry wounds you never addressed. You sabotage opportunities you should have taken. You repeat patterns you claim to be done with. And deep down you know this. That's why self-knowledge requires humility, because real honesty will break your ego long before it rebuilds your identity. But there's an upside, a big one. If you don't truly know who you are, then you also don't truly know who you could become. Your ignorance isn't just about your flaws. It's about your potential. And that discovery makes all the pain of self-awareness worth it. So, how do you start? How do you actually know yourself in a real psychological way? You watch yourself, not as a hero, not as a victim, not as the main character. You watch yourself like you're watching a stranger. Because we're all biased when we analyze ourselves. Our desires distort our vision. Our fears censor our thoughts. Our pride blocks our honesty. So the first step is observational detachment. Watch what you say and ask, what kind of person talks like this? Watch how you react and ask, why do I get triggered by this? What wound is this touching? Watch how you behave around people and ask, what version of myself am I performing right now? Watch your emotions and ask, is this coming from strength or insecurity? Watch yourself talk and ask, would a confident person speak to themselves like this? Watch your goals and ask, do I actually want this, or am I chasing someone else's approval? Watch your avoidance and ask, what am I afraid will happen if I confront this? Watch your temptations and ask, what weakness inside me is this exploiting? Watch your fantasies, yes, even the dark ones, and ask, what part of me is trying to express itself through this? Watch the things that drain you. Watch the things that energize you. Watch what makes you proud. Watch what makes you ashamed. Self-knowledge is uncomfortable, but you cannot change what you refuse to face. Let's talk about the darker part of this process, the part everyone avoids. When you start watching yourself honestly, you discover the version of you that you hide from the world, the resentful you, the jealous you, the insecure you, the angry you, the manipulative you, the self-sabotaging you, the version of you that could do real damage if left unchecked. Most people bury this part. They pretend it doesn't exist. They tell themselves they are a good person. But every psychologist, from Jung to Peterson, has said the same thing. Ignoring your darkness doesn't make you good. It makes you weak. Because until you understand what you're capable of, both good and bad, you'll never understand your true potential. Your ability to be dangerous, your capacity for strength, your inner fire, your willingness to protect what matters, your ability to stand your ground. These are not separate from your darkness. They are forged from it. Once you see the darker parts of yourself clearly, something incredible happens. You stop being easily manipulated. You stop being easily controlled. You stop being pushed around. You stop avoiding conflict. You stop apologizing for existing. You gain a spine. You gain presence. You gain authority. Understanding your darkness doesn't make you cruel. It makes you capable. But here's where modern life traps people, especially in the US. We live in a comparison culture. You measure your worth against someone else's success, someone else's lifestyle, someone else's discipline, someone else's confidence, someone else's progress, someone else's highlight reel. And when you do that, you stop seeing your own potential. You stop seeing how far you've actually come. You stop seeing your own growth. You stop seeing your own journey. Which is why the only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday, not the person someone else is today. The moment you break free from comparison, you reclaim your identity. You reclaim your timeline. You reclaim your destiny. Let's go deeper with something brutally honest. Most people know exactly what they should improve, exactly what they're avoiding, exactly what small steps they could take today. They just don't want to admit how small those steps need to be. You think improvement must be dramatic, big, heroic. But real change starts with humiliatingly small actions. Maybe you've been avoiding a conversation for months. Maybe you've been avoiding paperwork. Maybe you've been avoiding a decision. Maybe you've been avoiding a responsibility. Maybe you've been avoiding your own emotions. And the truth is, you might only be capable of facing it for 10 seconds today. And that's okay, because courage isn't measured by intensity. It's measured by direction. A tiny step taken honestly is superior to a giant step faked for validation. Most disciplined people in the world didn't get there through motivation. It's a see, they got there through small, humiliating, incremental improvements. Daily effort, daily honesty, daily responsibility, daily self-observation. You build your identity one honest action at a time. But let's talk about the ego for a moment, because the ego is the biggest barrier to self-understanding. Your ego wants you to believe, I already know who I am. I'm doing fine. I don't need to change. I'm better than most people anyway. Oh, I can handle more than I admit. But your results don't lie. Your life doesn't lie. Your patterns don't lie. To truly grow, you must first allow yourself to be a fool. Because beginners grow. Experts stagnate. Self-knowledge requires sacrifice, specifically the sacrifice of who you think you are, because who you think you are is blocking who you could become. A powerful way to know yourself is to watch your life like a cold-blooded observer. Like a snake, silent, unemotional, purely aware. No fantasies, no excuses, no wishful thinking. Just observation. Watch how you move through the world. Watch how you talk to people. Watch where you hesitate. Watch where you shine. Watch the habits that destroy you. Watch the habits that build you. Watch the choices that break your self-respect. Watch the choices that restore it. This kind of observation is ruthless, but it's transformative. Now, here's the final truth. Your potential grows in direct proportion to the moral effort you put into your life. If you aim at the highest good you can imagine in your speech, your choices, your actions, your responsibilities, your capacity will expand beyond anything you currently believe. Self-knowledge isn't an achievement. It's an adventure. It pulls you out of comfort. It isolates you from your old life. It reveals truths you weren't ready to face. It gives you meaning that comfort could never provide. And this journey, this process of discovering your true nature, is the most difficult, most painful, and most rewarding adventure you'll ever take. Because there is nothing greater you can do in this world than become the person you are capable of becoming. If you felt exposed listening to this, if something inside you whispered, "That's me," then your journey isn't starting someday. It already started. Right now. This moment. And if you want to understand the invisible force shaping your confidence, your decisions, your relationships, your failures, your entire identity, then don't stop here. There's a rule, an idea, that's been controlling your life without your awareness. Nietzsche called it one of the most dangerous truths a person can discover. Most people never notice it, and that's exactly why it destroys them. Click the next video, the Nietzsche rule that silently controls your entire life.